What's up, world? E-Cushion is here. Super excited to be bringing you lesson number 4 of the second semester in 2024. This is free lessons for all ages and all levels. And we thank NGO Radio Terra for putting us all on, for creating this fantastic free forum to disseminate knowledge and to share music ideas all around the world with everybody. So thank you for being here. Last week we focused on my process in the studio, what it's like to sit with a song that you haven't heard before and then play to it and construct something that's keepable, construct something that serves the song and feels great. Today we're going to be talking about some groove essentials. We talked about them the first lesson, but today I want to piggyback off of those ideas. I'm going to share some more funk classics with you, some more super important funk grooves to add to your repertoire. I'm going to talk about second line and its importance to everything in terms of American music. And I'm also going to go through some Caribbean rhythms, some Haitian music, some Haitian rhythms, some French Caribbean styles, and break apart some of the subtleties in those. So let's start out though on the funk tip, and we're going to play, let's start out on the funk tip and play I Got a Feeling by James Brown. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's play James Brown's I Got the Feeling. This is a super classic funk groove, well known for its syncopated off. Alright, so let's start on the funk tip. I want to focus on James Brown's I Got the Feeling. It's a really, really great funk groove. It sort of sets up your knowledge base for a lot of the offbeat, displaced 16th note funk grooves. And again, it's a classic beat, and I'm going to start it slow for you. So this is I Got the Feeling slow. So let me speed it up another like 5 BPM so we can hear it a little faster. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Alright, so we're going to slow it down a bit and we're going to focus on James Brown's Soul Power. This has really cool ghost notes as always because it's Clyde and Jabo. This is a fantastic swing pattern on top. So and and then the ghost notes in the backbeat. And then, of course, 2 hits on the bass drum. So. And then, of course, the quintessential crash on 1 every time. Of course, it's always got to be musical, but in the style of funk, it's important to hit that crash on 1. So here we go. Soul Power. James Brown. So I'm also going to add in an additional groove. So this groove right here is another kind of super swinging groove based out of Washington, D.C. This is from the go-go style of funk. Check out some of the great drummers for Backyard Band, for Junkyard Band, and Rare Essence, just to name a few. I really love this beat, but it's hard to play without a conga player. I do want to emphasize the fact that if you're ever asked as a drummer to play a go-go beat, you will be asked to probably throw in some of the hand percussion parts. I really love this beat because it's got really clear roots in African drumming and African music because of all the hand drums that are incorporated on top of the funk groove. So the socket beat is this. And then of course the hand percussion does stuff like this. I really want to impress upon you is that there's a very basic fill called Hot Chop Barbecue or Pat Boone Debbie Boone. Chuck Brown is the creator of Go-Go, and he would call that fill Hot Chop Barbecue. So, right? So it's also the same fill for Parliament Funkadelics Tear the Roof Off the Sucker. And then this is also great for filling into the socket beat. So one thing I think is really interesting about a lot of the Caribbean rhythms is that they all are based around similar clave. This rhythm right here. We know the 3-2 clave and the 2-3 clave from Afro-Cuban music, right? Or but this clave particular that we're going to talk about today is a 3-beat clave. Right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. If we take that clave and apply it to dancehall, Jamaican rhythms, it's like this. Or right? If we take that 3-beat rhythm and we apply it to what the French do, they do it like this. Same rhythm. Now that sounds very much like the current sound of Afrobeat today. It could be Kizomba, it could be Zouk, it couldn't be Kompa though. And I'll tell you why it couldn't be Kompa. Is because Kompa happens to add extra little ghost notes inside of that 3-beat pattern. So instead of it being it's and it's not played on the hi-hat for the most part. It's played here on the cymbal. And that cymbal is turned way up in the mix. So, here it is. I'm going to take us between dancehall, Zouk, and Kompa for now. Dancehall. Now, I also want to introduce you to one more variation, which is Kizomba. They speak Portuguese on top of this music, and this is popular in Portugal, It's popular in Cape Verde. It's popular in Angola. It's popular in Boston. It's popular where anywhere Cabo Verdeans and people who speak Portuguese live. This is where this rhythm is super popular. The other rhythms I played for you, people speak and sing in French and Creole on top of those. So this is a great rhythm right here. This is Kizomba takes away the very last rhythm of that 3-beat pattern. So instead of it being it's just this. On the hi-hat, they'll use the same 3-beat pattern, but they'll also add a triplet into it, and it'll swing a bit as well. And one thing to pay attention to is the tempo is very, very specific. Obviously, the Zouk and the Kompa sound both good at 84 BPM, but this beat right here sounds better at 90. So let's take it up to 90. And then, lastly, I want to touch base on the foundation for all Black American music comes from the second line New Orleans rhythms. And it's really important to know how to play them because they also have something to do with the Caribbean rhythms. And you can hear how they fit together like hand in glove. After all, they are cousins. And after all, it's all based on one history and one lineage. Okay? Here we go. So, that same 3-beat pattern, well, we apply that to the snare. We're going to add some rolls to it. I'm also going to add in some of the other parts from the Zouk and Kompa rhythm. So the thing I played on the floor tom on the and of 4, so, or depending on how you're counting it, it could be perceived on beat 4 or the and of 4. So So one of the things that I love about New Orleans music is that all of the music that we love in America that was created by Black Americans and Caribbean folks and all the diasporas and Latinos and Afro-Cubans is amazing because all the music is inside of this music. One thing that I really love about New Orleans music and that I really love about second line rhythms in general is that you can hear the genealogy of all the world's music rhythms inside of it. Because it is an African music, because it was created by the Africans and the Creole people cross-pollinating in Congo Square, in New Orleans, and then this music was played in funeral processionals. If you were obviously in the front of the line, you were in the casket. So you wanted to be in the second line playing the drums and celebrating the life of those who have passed on. Let me play a little bit of those variations for us to hear the Caribbean rhythms that I just demonstrated to you and the funk rhythms that I just demonstrated to you, all within this very historical, traditional American rhythm.